Hi everybody, welcome to another card making video. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card where the dragon is guarding his treasure in his cave. I did some colored line stamping to give the treasures a special look. Without further ado, let's get started. Bij je Nederlands, er is ondertiteling beschikbaar. I start with coloring my images. I use Copic markers for this and I place the cap with the color number on the left of the paper. All the sets that I used are from Fawn. From Ahoy Matey I stamped out the mountains to act like mountains of gold, and I also stamped the coins out of that set. Both with Memento Peanut Brittle. I also used that color to stamp out the crowns. The biggest crown is from Critters Ever After and the smaller one is from Mermaid for You. The diamonds are also from Ahoy Matey and I stamped those with Memento colors as well. I used Rhubarb Stalk, Nautical Blue and Cottage Ivy. I also stamped out the dragon from Critters Ever After and the treasure chest from Ahoy Matey. I used my normal black ink for this. If you want to skip watching me color, you can skip to the time that pop-ups on the screen now. You can also find the clickable time link in the description. When I'm done coloring, I go over the inner lines with my black fine liner. I only show it in the video with one image to save some time. To finish my images off, I'm adding highlights with my white gel pen. I die cut the images off screen. To create the cave, I need to ink blend 3 pieces of watercolor paper. I use distress oxide for this in the colors evergreen bow and black soot. I already did 2 pieces off screen since I did them all in the same way. The blending doesn't need to be perfect since I'm going to distress it heavily with water. So when the blending is done, I'm using my spray bottle and spray a lot of water. I dab off the excess with a paper towel right away. Now I'm going to mist it with a mixture of water and a bit of metallic silver paint. Be sure to use water-based paint for this so it will actually dissolve in the water. It needs a good shake, then I spray it and dab it off right away. It still has to dry a little, but as you can see already, it gives a nice shine to the paper. These are the other 2 pieces I already prepared. Now I'm going to die cut the piece I just made. I'm using one of the simple stitched hillside borders from Fawn to cut the hill. Next I'm going to pick the biggest piece left to cut the first cave ceiling part. I use the stitched hillside borders. Those are also from Fawn. I'm taking my panel where I'm going to blend the background on later to somewhat measure how I like everything to be die cutted. I'm cutting the second piece of cave ceiling with another one of the stitched hillside borders. Later on I will trim them all a little, but first I'm going to blend the background. For the background I use distress oxide in the colors chipped sapphire and wilted violet. I drew some lines on my watercolor paper so I know where I need to blend the background, since the rest will be covered up anyway. By the way, if you like my videos, you can support my channel by subscribing. If you already have, thank you! After I'm done, I use my spray bottle to sprinkle on some water. I use my heat gun to dry it completely instead of dabbing the drops of water off with a paper towel. I mixed some dark blue paint with a little black and some metallic silver paint to create this wonderful color. Off screen I splatter this on my background. When the background is dry, I continue with gluing on the hill and the largest ceiling piece. I trim any excess off with my scissors. I make sure not to glue all the way to the top of the hill so I can put stuff behind it later. When those are glued down, I'm using some baby powder to make my heel anti-static so I can heat emboss the sentiment on. I'm using the sentiment "You're a treasure" from the Ahoy Matey stamp set. I'm stamping it with clear embossing ink and I sprinkle on some clear embossing powder. I wanted the sentiment to look like it was part of the stone the cave is made from. Before heating the powder, I clean off my work surface to be sure none of the powder fell on my glass media mat. When the heating gun is nice and hot, I melt the powder as quickly as I can to prevent warping the paper. Now it's time to adhere the smaller piece of sealing. I'm using tin foam tape for that to give it some dimension. Next up is adding the images. I start with my main pieces, the treasure and the dragon. From there on, I'm doing the pile of treasures that's on the right. When I'm happy with the placement, I start gluing everything down. I try to hold the biggest pieces in place, put some glue behind it and then move on to the smaller pieces. I make sure that I glue the red diamond and the coin pile to the hill only, so it will get some depth. I'm using tin foam tape to adhere both crowns. I continue with the left side. I'm doing it the same way like I did on the right. I'm using tin foam tape for the blue diamond, the coins that are in front of the chest and for the dragon. I only need to glue the whole thing down on a black card base. And with that, my card is finished. When I was designing this card, I was struggling a bit how to make the scene feel like you're in a cave. The ceiling parts definitely helped to achieve that. If I hadn't added those, you would just think the dragon was on some hill instead of in his cave. If you enjoyed my video, please leave a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and ring the bell to receive notifications when a new video is up. Thanks for watching, see you next time, bye!